For you guys who don't know who Cousin Tito is, I put his name in the chat room. You need to just go binge his shit. Okay, binge his shit. Don't say nothing. Just go binge it. It is Godfather style approved, Uncle Rom approved. Go ahead, T.
Who's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians, operating globally and beyond. So listen, today, of course, will be part 2 of the 3-part series focusing on how women weave worlds with their words. And just for a brief recap of the first installment in this series, we covered the interview of Britney Renner with DJ Academic, and I showed you side-by-side comparisons of a previous video that myself, Ron Wills, and the CO Raw podcast did, covering the initial topic of how she groomed PJ Washington. Now, as most of you may already know, we don't really cover the current events and popular news and things like that in terms of the gossip and celebrity culture, but we always want to find the lesson and the controversies. And this particular subject with these particular public figures have a lot of great information and techniques that we do well to break down and to show not only the skill sets that are used on this side, on the side of the seducers, of man gets woman, but the skill sets that women use, especially, highly profiled women who are adept at weaving instances and putting themselves in position to maximize the exchange or the extraction, in some cases, from the men that they target. And so that leads us to today's presentation. On the left, we have IG model mainstay and the fantasy of plenty of dudes lonely Friday nights, weighing in at 4.6 million followers on IG. Heavyweight influencer Britney Renner, aka the Rebel. On the right, we have Manosphere alum and influencer du jour, weighing in at 1.1 million followers on IG. The style godfather himself, Mr. Kevin Samuels, aka the Reality Check. Now, gentlemen, let's be clear. This conversation opens up with her revealing that she started in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And yes, I said that correct. Not Mississippi, Mississippi. And anyone who has traveled there on purpose, okay, knows that there's not too much going on in that region of our fair United States. But moving on from that, after establishing a basic understanding of who she presents as and who her journey up to this point, Kevin does something that is unique to the manosphere, and how after all of these years of conversations, we have been able to refine the dialogue to this point. He went right for what she wants at the end of the day. Check this out.
And I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of like you almost have to keep it going, because if I'm Britney Renner and I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and let's say I fall off and now I'm working at Target, it's not that that's a failure, but there would be ridicule that comes behind that.
As somebody who sees the world from a different angle, do you have an end goal?
So, gentlemen, to be honest with you, I had to think about that question to Kevin's guest, Britney Renner, and the total spectrum of her work and the interviews that she's done to this point. And while we would classify her just off the bat as a 100 octane, shout out to the master teacher BGS at Moore's octane scale, 100 octane, I had to pull back for a second and think that no, she's moving a bit differently. And when I looked at the sum of those parts, I came up with this assessment. This is a video that I presented 2 years ago, but I believe that it accurately frames the mentality of the woman that we're dealing with right here. Here it is. Starting with the diesel, the end goal or the end game goal is to earn and burn. They are the unknown. They are the ones who have so many variables that went into their lifestyle and why they do what they did. Their focus is at the end of the day to earn and burn. And Godspeed to the man who takes on that challenge of attempting to settle a woman of that caliber. Yes, gentlemen, her lifestyle and how she presents to the public is that of a 100 octane, the jet-setting, effervescent, intelligent, well-spoken party girl. But her actions and her actual tangible activities mirror that of a diesel. And I'll link that full video down below, and you can go through the Octane series and you can see for yourself how much this frames our subject for today as a diesel. But let's move on, because there are some other points that I want to hit from this interview that I believe are great takeaways for the men in this space. Now, at this point in the interview, Kevin is in his comfort zone. He has her squarely in his world. And gentlemen, just keep in mind that if you are, especially if you are engaging with a younger woman, you want to be in a position to mentor the PYT. If you recall the video that I presented, how to mentor a PYT, I labeled 5 specific steps that you can take in order to guide her through your world, informing her as to how you want that dynamic to move and what the ultimate goal of the exchange will be at the end of the day. But this clip right here shows how Kevin's taking charge and leading her into his manner of thinking in a way that has her chasing his knowledge. Here it is.
I can only really say how I feel, what my truth is.
This becomes a philosophical question. You know what happened to truth tellers, right?
What?
What happened to Socrates?
I don't know. What happened?
Look it up.
Well, then, but the people who don't know want the answer.
Well, Socrates was one of the most wise men of his time.
Okay.
But they made him drink poison. Truth comes at a cost.
It does.
Gentlemen, definitely take notes. This is called applying pressure. Now, men and women apply pressure in different ways. In this particular case, Kevin applied the pressure of philosophy. What are the more meaningful aspects of who you are, the dynamics of this conversation, and where it is going? You are in my world. Now he's having her qualify herself in his world. She's not familiar with the reference that he made, so she has to defer to his leadership to make it through that particular corridor of the conversation. Classic mentorship behavior. And remember, just like I pointed out in the previous video, if she can't out-earn you, she can't out-think you. There's only one thing left to do. It is to show that she can or cannot out-fuck you. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, gentlemen. I just want to make that point. Let's focus in on one little aspect of this exchange, and that is the point of a woman expressing her quote-unquote truth. Now, let's be clear. My wheelhouse is seduction coaching. I teach men and explain the tools and skill sets of walking a man through the steps from hello to the pillow. There are other guys who are way more adept at dating and relationship advice, coaching, and mentorship. But I will say this small clip here presents something that most men need to pay attention to.
When you say speak freely, what does that mean?
Whatever your truth is. I don't feel like a lot of people tell the truth.
Your truth?
Yeah.
Is there a personal truth?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, I could, if we're in a relationship, someone could ask, well, what's the truth? Well, this is my truth. This is his truth. There's somewhere, it's in the middle somewhere.
Gentlemen, I will say this. When a woman says, this is my truth, definitely listen. Take it with a grain of salt, but listen to what she is saying. She is expressing the sum of her conditioning, what she has taken away from life, what she values, what she looks forward to presenting you with. In short, this is what she brings to the table. Her truth slash her conditioning is what she brings to the table, which, of course, if you're part of the manosphere, in particular the black manosphere, aka select manosphere, you know that the table is your mission. And her truth, aka the state of her being, is what you need to determine is worthy of taking your mission from where it is now to the ultimate fruition. All right, gentlemen, so we are moving forward. We are grooving. He has so far brought her into his world. She's playing by his rules. She is feeding off of his energy. But let's be clear. All right. Kevin is interacting with a woman who openly admits,
like, I'm a shark in the middle of the ocean.
This is why these breakdowns are so important. Just like I brought out when I was breaking down her playbook for the CEO Raw podcast, just like I pointed out, she used with the DJ Academic podcast. Check out this switch up right here.
So I just think right now, to be honest with you, like ever since I had my son, it was the first. No, I lied. Because when I was pregnant, I used to watch your lives, and so when you would talk about, yeah, really helpful stuff, really helpful stuff, really helpful stuff, damn.
As a member of the manosphere and participant of the Black Manosphere and steward of the Select Manosphere, I'd like to formally issue a pardon and exemption for Kevin's response to this obviously well-trained, well-practiced temptress in Britney Renner. While we do not condone such a loss of frame while mentoring a PYT, we understand that in the face of such a monumental occasion such as this, exceptions must be made, and it is our mission to continue to use moments like these as educational tools for other men, and especially younger men coming up in the game, so that they can have a better chance at overcoming such a tremendous challenge as they continue forward on the path of masculine mastery. Amen. And speaking of mentoring younger men, who saw that clip that Deion Sanders posted about hosting Brittany Renner for a talk for his new recruits at Jackson State? A person like Deion in that position, obviously this was, a PR stunt, and he wanted to shake things up within that program. But this next clip from the Kevin Samuels interview that I'm going to present clearly shows why masculine mentorship within these situations far outweigh that of a woman. There's a saying in this space that you should not ever look for a woman to teach you how to attract women, or to teach you how to mentor women, or to teach you how to avoid super sharks. All right. So here's the clip that I'm referring to from this interview.
They don't cheat. They exercise options, but it's not mandatory. Most don't. And when they do exercise the options, it comes with rules. 1, no outside babies or kids. No bringing home no sexual diseases. 2, no putting the family or the brand at risk. 3, no public or private embarrassment.
Gentlemen, I can guarantee you that at no point in her presentation to Jackson State did she talk about brand management. Did she talk about image protection? Hell, I'm sure she didn't even bring up the protection of their name, likeness, and image provision that the NCAA is instituting so that they can now generate income while they are college athletes. I think that the guys would be better served having a mentor and or a coach who specializes in brand management and image consulting in their next meeting. I think this next clip from the interview really shows Kevin's wheelhouse in terms of image consultation, but also brand management in the face of adversity. Here it is.
My point is, Jay-Z and Beyonce had an understanding. And whatever was between them was their business. You don't need your sister jumping in your business in a public elevator with a camera to put all that out on Front Street. Now Jay-Z and Beyonce had to do damage control and crisis control because of Solange. Had Solange not been there, we likely wouldn't even have this window into the relationship like Bill and Melinda.
Okay.
See, there's always an understanding. And I don't understand, and it's one of the things, the divorce rate drops drastically when people over a certain income because there is an understanding. And I think one of the biggest things women often say is you want loyalty and honesty. Okay, well, if you get it and you want a man and you want a lifestyle of a certain level, that comes with things.
Now, personally, I support ethical non-monogamy, but the takeaway from this particular clip is that open communication is critical to achieving the most important outcomes to any beneficial relationship, which are stability and growth. But I want to play this final set of clips to really just bring home the most important takeaways that men in this space do well to note in terms of how to get to the core of a conversation with anyone, but in particular, the type of women who have the ability to weave worlds and to just run circles around the average man. Here it is.
Do you relish being the rebel?
I love it here. I'm free. I mean, to be honest, yeah, like this type of freedom and saying the things I've said and doing the things I've done on a public level, there's probably a lot of opportunities I will never get because of this level of transparency, which is fine. But I feel like if I'm going to go all the way, it's like I got to rock out with my cock out at this point. That's how I feel.
So is there a model for what you want to be? When you're 60, what do you want your life to look like?
That's a great question. But yeah, I want a family, but it is going to take, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't know who would want to sign up to be with me. And that's just being all the way transparent. I don't know.
So, in all honesty, gentlemen, there was no point in this interview that we could sense that Kevin was not in full control. His experience as a salesman and no doubt his ability to synthesize and refine all the conversations and discussions and experiential exchanges within the span of his time here in the manosphere and ultimately transitioning into the mainstream can be summarized by asking these three essential questions. And these are the questions that I want you to take away because they're effective when you're communicating with anyone, but in particular, like I said, the type of woman who has the ability to out-talk the average man. Here are the three questions. Who are you? What do you stand for? And what do you want at the end of the day? So taking those three questions and then comparing that to someone's body of work to see if they all are in alignment is a great tool when assessing their value to your mission. Gentlemen, the third and final installment to this series is one you will not want to miss. Shout out to the lead attorney and his guest, Suzette Speaks, when in this clip that I'm going to highlight in the next episode, he gets her to reveal a crucial element that women believe gives them superiority to most men. You will not want to miss that. In the meantime, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And feel free to check out the Patreon if you would like an unfiltered view towards modern seduction. As always, this is your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying, stay sharp and mission focused. Later.